Hello everyone and welcome back to a read-through of the Soldier Path of Vlad the Impaler. I do believe where we last left off, we met a vampire man, a Judas fish, whatever the hell that is, drank a lot of food, or drank and ate a lot of food, rescued a little girl, rescued an old man, and witnessed the murder of a churchgoer. Fun day. Where to go to continue solving this mystery? Many choices. I think we should go with the catacombs. We will hire a guide, because I don't trust myself. Oh, God. The Christian girl who you hired as your guide is more talkative than you'd expected, but she's also beautiful, really knows her way around the catacombs. My people used to gather in these tunnels after the Sultan conquered the city, she says. There was a while when we weren't allowed to pray to Jesus Christ, so we did it in secret, down here. Now the catacombs have reverted back to the thieves and the bone cultists. Oh, that's a pleasant place. You follow close behind her and asking, "And where can I find the king?" She freezes at the mention of that name. When she turns back to you, her porcelain face is deadly serious. You didn't say you were coming down here to seek out the king of the catacombs. You cock your head at her sudden change in demeanor. I need to find him, you reply. It's important to my No, she says, crossing herself. Nothing good can come from finding that. Suddenly she is yanked off her feet, collapsing to the ground. You draw your weapon as the girl screams, kicking at something in the darkness as she is dragged away. You hurl your torch at the thing that's grabbed hold of her, and are suddenly struck with a terror as it illuminates a large, slavering ghoul. The undead monster pulls the girl to its mouth with incredible strength. She screams as its powerful jaws bite deep into her skull with a sickening crack. You shake off your shock and leap forward, swinging your sword and screaming wildly. The ghoul roars in defiance, but something about you seems to aggravate it. With seething hiss, it drops the girl and retreats into the shadows. Yay, we're a hero. When you reach her, you find her brain half exposed and partially eaten, swelling out of her skull. Help me, she says. We're a good guy, we'll carry her back to the surface. Guilt overwhelms you for having paid so innocent a girl to take you down to the most dangerous place in the city. You pick her up, careful not to jostle her head, and carry her back through the halls of the dead to the streets above. She is all but catatonic when you drop her off at the physician's residence. You pay him a hefty amount of gold and tell him to do whatever he can for her. He says he will try. You leave her in his care. As you go, however, you feel unsettled by the hungry look she gives the man. Oh. Well, that guy's dead. We didn't really learn much. Maybe we should just go down, see what happens. Great. You descend into the catacombs beneath the city. It quickly becomes apparent that you are in the twisting maze of tight corridors that many well stretch on for miles. Everywhere around you, the dead lay in the row after row of endless shelves and alcoves. As you wind your way down the paths of the dead, you become faintly aware of a high-pitched chirping sound. At first, you think it might be rats. Then you turn around. Before you can react, you are engulfed by a swarm of bats filling the corridor. Those are some giant as fuck bats. Their chirping is disoriented. The beat of their wings surrounds you. You swear you catch a terrifying flash of maniacal laugh as they all pass. Is it vampire, bro? I hope it is. First of all, the wind from their 1,000 beating wings snuffs out your torch. Disoriented in the dark, you are suddenly in a very real danger of becoming permanently lost. And in these halls, that can be a death sentence. You manage to relight your torch, but you now have no idea from which direction you came. just wait. Time passes slowly. You hear things shuffling around you just beyond your sight. Eventually your torch burns out and you're left in the dark. You begin to call for help, no one comes. Eventually you start to lose your nerve. You begin feeling your way along the corridors, your hands passing all over all sorts of frightening things. You eventually cry in desperation. You shout and scream and sob. Soon, your voice is all but gone. You have no concept of how much time has passed. You are hungry, thirsty, no better off than when the bolts engulfed you. You lose consciousness. When you awake, you are shivering and naked, but miraculously, there is light. You are lying in the mud beneath the Istanbul docks. The sun is rising. You have no idea who pulled you out of the catacombs. You don't care. Your only concern is finding water, finding food, getting back to the inn without being arrested for indecency. Yeah, that's a pretty good priority. After that, you can figure out what all has taken you from the darkness, and we lost a bunch of stats in the process. Great. We haven't been to Bazaar. I want to go to the palace, though. Just walk through the main room. The basilica is enormous. Its vaulted ceilings arc high above the massive pillars of stone. You walk along the far wall past the kneeling faithful of the city who are praying for relief. In a remote corner beneath a golden reliquary, you see an old woman slowly putting out candles with her fingers. Can I perhaps get your own candle, you ask? The old woman replies in a cracked voice, saying, Each of these was lit before the eyes of Saint Lucy, who are here in this shrine. She sees the prayers of all who kneel in this spot, yet there have been prayers of late which are ugly and must not be answered. When the old woman turns, you see that there are hollow sockets where her eyes should be. Pointing a bony finger to your chest, she says, But use these things too, don't you? Be warned, the ghosts of this city do not like to be seen, but like Saint Lucy, some must keep their eyes open. She then turns and hobbles down the side. It does seem as though your deeds have caused you to build up quite a reputation. People will seem comfortable in your presence and offer you to buy you drinks at the inn. One particularly keen musician even sings a song about the wandering knight. We have reached knight status, and we have lost stats we should not have lost. Our strength and agility are still good. Our dex con int suffered though. Magic is useless to us. Okay. Man standing at the door. You descend the cramped staircase below the streets. At the bottom you are faced with a heavily armored man in a dark hood. If you are right about everything you've witnessed so far, it is to believe, then the answers you need are on the other side of the gate, and that this man is guarding. If you are wrong, then he certainly will kill you. I believe that this is the entrance that Vampire Bro told us about earlier. So that may be something. We have a high charm. We could attack him, or we could show him our silver cross. Let's show him the silver cross. Gambling with your life, you reach around your neck and produce a silver amulet of the cross and dragon. The man then nods and opens the gate for you to pass within. As you plunge deeper beneath the city, you begin to breathe in relief. Your plan has worked. He thinks you're a knight from the Order of the Dragon, but all your bravado fades as you enter the secret sanctum. Oh god. Hooded men and women kneel in rows, murmuring twisted prayers in the silver dragon crosses in their hands. On the walls hang bodies, mutilated in ritualistic ways. Symbols painted in their own blood, symbols that have seen all across the encounters in the city, symbols from the Exorcist doctrine. You dare not lay long enough to be recognized. Besides, you now know who is behind the atrocities. The question on your mind as you be inducted into Shadowy Staircase is, why? Okay. We haven't been to the palace yet. The catacombs is unlocked again, which means something new is there. I'm kind of interested to find out what that is. What options do we get? I don't know where we got any of those. What does Bazaar have to offer? Okay. So we got 2 areas where we wait till nightfall. We have a bunch of information to be gathered here. What does the palace have to offer? Visit the Royal Arts Community. I don't care about that. Oh no, this is what Vampire Bro is telling us about. The East Gate. Okay, let's check out the East Gate. You enter Basilica through the East Gate. The hums of praying citizens echo hauntingly through the stone antechamber. You are about to step into the main part of the church when you suddenly stop. Something isn't right within the antechamber. After a few moments of looking, you notice a symbol concealed in the masonry of the ceiling. We've seen it before. It's a 5-pointed crown, the symbol of the Demon King, Asmodeus. Oh. Peachy. It is a warning to the educated that danger awaits he who continues forward. We are a knight, we fear nothing. Drawing your weapon, you begin tapping on the walls in order to find the hint of hollow space behind. After long minutes of searching, you find a spot that sounds thinner than the rest of the stone. Putting your strength into your shoulder, you budge and force the wall in any direction you can think of until finally, something gives. A part of the wall swivels out to reveal a hidden staircase spiraling down. You descend into the darkness and smell of decay. Upon reaching the bottom, you light a lonely torch hanging from the wall beside the stairs. You recoil in horror to find a room filled with corpses, hanging upside down, chained to the ceiling. Each of them has had their skin flayed from their bodies. The walls have been covered in writing, all done in careful penmanship, using the blood of those who had been skinned alive. You scan the grisly text, only to discover the commandment of Solomon from the exorcist's doctrine. The corpses must have been witches or people suspected of witchcraft. Either way, it would not do to be caught by whichever dark members of the clergy use this horrific place. You leave at once, but not before taking one of the sacrificial knives, which has been inscribed with strange hieroglyphs. Got 1 magic. Okay. This actually interests me. So let's try that. Following a crude map, pieced together by your clues from your investigation, you wind your way beneath Istanbul, searching for the elusive king of the catacombs, a sort of boogeyman who is said to steal children from their beds at night. Aren't we supposed to be saving an entire city, not chasing after a fairy tale? Just saying. As you pass by cairns of stacked stones and other directional markers, you begin to suspect someone is following you. See, the last time we extinguished our torch, nothing good happened. So, you turn around and head back the way you came, drawing your weapon. It isn't long before you see a man in heavy robes ahead of you. His eyes reflect the light of your torch, and you realize that he has no light of his own. "You there!" you call. "Why are you following me?" The man doesn't answer. He stands there for a long moment, just staring at you. Then he begins walking towards you. He pulls back his hood to reveal a face covered in cracked white paint, resembling a skull. Nothing about this seems right, and you prepare to attack. It's only by past experience that you realize that a man painted like a skeleton in the catacombs is probably not alone. You duck just as a sharp gaff hook hits the wall where your head was. You turn to find that you are set upon by 2 other men in face paint before you know it. You are at the center of a vicious brawl. Only through fortunate footing and superior combat experience are you able to kill 2 of the men, while a third flees for his life into the darkness. A search of their bodies turns up pockets full of bones, dead rats, some half-eaten, and a handmade crosses of bone and bat skulls. Whoever they are, they've given you quite a pummeling, and you head back to the surface to gather yourself back together. +1 strength and dex. Alright. Alright, let's check out the palace. The Visitors' Council. Sure. You've been invited to the palace to something called the Visitors' Council. As any invitation to the palace is an opportunity to learn more, you accept. What you Find that night is a large forum filled with people from all over Europe and the Middle East, all discussing the state of the city, and what is to be done about it. There does not seem to be, however, any form or structure to the gathering, which strikes you as strange. How is this council supposed to get anything accomplished? It is at that moment that you notice a European woman standing in the far doorway. There is something striking about her she sees looking right at you. She then motions with her fingers for you to follow, and disappears around the corner. You are considering following when you hear someone call to you. You turn and see a crowd of men sitting around the couches and misty gathering. One of them says, "You're the one investigating the murders, aren't you? Come, tell us what you found." Oh god. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. If you hold let him go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You follow the woman through the kiosk to a private residence in the palace grounds. She leads you into a small courtyard where another stunning young woman is bathing in a pool by moonlight. When she sees you, she emerges, her brown hair clinging to her back and shoulders. "I was hoping you'd come," she says. "Were you?" you reply. "Indeed, since the moment I saw you." The woman who you followed opens a satin robe, and the woman from the pool slips into it. "You may go," she says. The woman you followed bows, saying, "Countess Karnstein?" She and all the servants leave, then it's merely you and the Countess. She sits down on a couch and pours a glass of wine. She holds it up to you. "Join me?" she asks. Her gaze is compelling. You walk over and sit next to her, taking the wine. You notice that she doesn't pour one for herself. The Countess runs a hand through your hair. "You are very, very beautiful for a warrior." "Thank you," you reply. She smiles, cocking her head to the side as her hand rests on your cheek. "Something tells me you've gone too long since anyone told you that." You tuck your hair behind your ear. "I'm not the type that needs a lot of compliments." She leans in, whispering, "No, you're a woman of action. It's in your blood." Her lips brush against yours, and you stab a dagger into her heart. She goes rigid, collapsing against the couch as her eyes become pearl white. Her fangs elongate through her stone-like paralysis. "I was fooled by a vampire once," you say. "Never again." You draw your weapon and slice her head from her shoulders. Blood pours out across the sofa as you stand. You swallow the glass of wine in one gulp. Sudden the glass on the table, you wipe the blood from your sword and walk away, having rid Istanbul from at least one hungry darkness. Nice. I appreciate all these stat increases. Chapter 5. Your weapon clangs sharply against the sword of the bearded knight. A shingle gives way underfoot and you barely manage to adjust your weight before you slide off the roof to certain death. The knight presses his attack and you are forced to backward along the dome of the Hagia Sophia Mosque. Oh god. Okay, our magic's not that great. Dexterity and agility are not that great. Our strength, however, is great. "Your name will be added to the list of the judge," shouts the knight. "You will join your heathen brothers and sisters impaled on spikes of hell, and your sultan will at last hear the fires of the master he serves." With that, you duck a swing from his sword and spin to strike him against his ribcage. The knight's feet slide back, grating against the tiles, but he manages to stay on the roof. A cold fear seeps into you as you realize that failing this attack has left you horrifically exposed. The knight grabs your extended wrist and pulls, overcoming the little strength you have and throwing you clean off the roof. The knight's cackling pierces your ears as you plummet to your death below. You overestimated your own abilities and have failed next. Next time, consider your actions more carefully. Well, that was our soldier playthrough. Next time we will try either the explorer or wizard, I believe it was. Those have their own interesting kind of archetypes. I believe the wizard is more magical and intelligence-based, while the explorer is more charm and agility-based. So yeah, we will definitely be doing this another. I hope you all enjoyed these readings of Vlad the Impaler. And I will see all of you in the next video. Bye-bye!